The tourist grabbed the guard's weapon, confident he'd face no consequences. But the guard's swift reaction stunned everyone, and the outcome was completely unexpected. Near Buckingham Palace, against the backdrop of its majestic gates and pristine pathways, a tall royal guard stood as still as ever in his bright red uniform. His towering black bearskin hat, flawless posture, and unwavering gaze epitomized British honor and tradition. Around him, a bustling crowd of tourists filled the air with camera clicks, laughter, and excited chatter. For most, this was an encounter with living history. For him, it was just another day on duty. And then, among the respectful onlookers, he appeared. A man of about 45, overweight and heavy-set with a large body squeezed into a black coat barely buttoned over his stomach. Tight jeans stretched across his legs, threatening to tear with every step. His messy, greasy hair framed a pale, almost sickly face, etched with an expression of boredom and disdain. The man grumbled loudly, ensuring he'd be heard. "So, this is your famous royal guard, just standing there like mannequins. What a show! Where's the emotion? Where's the entertainment?" Some in the crowd turned to give him disapproving looks, but the man waved dismissively, his voice growing louder as he stepped closer to the guard, invading his personal space. "Hey, hat guy, are you even alive? Maybe crack a smile? Or are you just on autopilot?" The guard remained motionless, eyes fixed straight ahead, jaw tightly set. He embodied the restraint and discipline that should have inspired admiration, but not to this man. Unfazed by the lack of response, the tourist leaned in closer, determined to provoke. "What? Still nothing? How about this?" he sneered, waving a hand in front of the guard's face. The soldier didn't even blink. The crowd began to murmur. Phones were raised, cameras recording. "This is disrespectful. Someone should stop him," a voice whispered. "Unbelievable behavior," another added. But the man seemed to revel in the attention. He glanced back at the crowd with a smug nod, as if their silence was an endorsement of his antics. "That's right, I'm a tourist. I'm paying money here, and I want a show." Though some onlookers shook their heads in disapproval, others chuckled nervously, encouraging the spectacle. The tension in the air grew palpable. Not satisfied with the guard's stoic silence, the man escalated. Perhaps in his mind, if he couldn't make this mannequin move, his day in London would be wasted. And with the audience around him, he clearly wanted a show. He stepped even closer, leaning forward as if to share a secret, his voice loud and mocking. "Hey, it must be boring standing there all day. Want me to take over for you? Go on, have a seat, take a break." The crowd stirred, with murmurs turning to audible disapproval. "This is too much. Leave him alone. What's wrong with this guy?" The guard remained still, though the tension was now visible in his tightly clenched jaw and slightly raised chin. He held his ground with dignity, even as the man continued his performance, smirking at the crowd for approval. The tourist stepped back, but not to retreat. Turning to the audience, he spread his arms theatrically, addressing his fans. "See? I'm just trying to make his day better, and he ignores me." A few teenagers laughed and recorded the scene on their phones, but most onlookers watched in dismay, shaking their heads. Then, the man crossed a line. He reached out and grabbed the strap of the guard's rifle, tugging at it slightly. "Come on, let me hold it. What kind of toy is this anyway? Bet it's not even real." The response was instant. The guard took a sharp step forward, holding the rifle firmly so it was positioned directly in front of the man. His voice, cold and commanding, cut through the noise of the crowd. "Remove your hands immediately." The crowd gasped, a collective intake of breath at the sudden shift in the situation. A moment of silence hung in the air before whispers erupted. He finally crossed the line. Serves him right. The tourist froze, his face betraying a flicker of shock before his usual smug expression returned. Raising his hands in mock surrender, he chuckled. "Whoa, scary. What are you gonna do, huh? Relax, it's just a joke." The guard resumed his motionless stance, his face unreadable. Yet the tension in the air was undeniable. The man seemed to misinterpret this silence as weakness. "Oh, still nothing? Fine, I'll just take it myself," he declared, stepping forward again, reaching once more for the rifle. But this time the guard's patience snapped. In one swift motion, he rotated the rifle and used the stock to shove the man back forcefully. The tourist, barely managing to keep his balance, finally collapsed to his knees on the cold stone pavement of the square. His already pale face flushed deep red with anger, and his hands flailed aimlessly as if searching for someone to blame. The crowd fell silent for a brief moment before bursts of restrained laughter rippled through the air. Some onlookers began shouting at him, "Serves you right. Hope you're happy with your show now." The man panted heavily, struggling to get up, but before he could, two security guards in black uniforms approached swiftly. Their stern expressions and confident movements made it clear. This performance was over. "You have violated the rules and obstructed official duties," said one of the guards, a tall man with a short haircut and a voice as sharp and firm as metal. "Leave the premises immediately." The tourist opened his mouth as if to argue, but quickly hesitated, realizing that a sizable crowd had gathered around him, all armed with cameras. Just moments ago, he had basked in the attention, but now every lens was fixed on his humiliation. His face twisted with a mix of confusion and anger. "You've got to be kidding me. I'm a tourist. I have every right to be here," he blurted, trying to sound confident. The guards, unfazed by his protests, hauled him to his feet, gripping his shoulders firmly. One of them, maintaining his serious demeanor, added, "You've drawn attention to yourself with inappropriate behavior. We're escorting you off the premises." The crowd erupted into applause. Loud clapping, approving cheers, and even whistles rained down on the tourist like a wave. Some spectators shouted, "That's how it's done! Bravo, guard!" Realizing he had completely lost control of the situation, the man scowled and stared at the ground. He made a feeble attempt to free himself from the guard's grip, but they didn't flinch. His resistance looked pathetic, like a child trying to avoid punishment, and it only provoked more laughter from the crowd. Meanwhile, the Royal Guard, as if nothing had happened, calmly adjusted the strap of his rifle and resumed his standard position. His motionless stance and unwavering focus served as a powerful reminder of the importance of maintaining dignity, even in the most absurd situations.